I now give the floor to the distinguished His Excellency Permanent Representative of Syrian Arab Republic. The floor is yours, please.
شكرا سيدي الرئيس. أهنئكم على انتخابكم رئيسا.
Thank you. I should like first of all to congratulate you for your election to the presidency of this important committee throughout this session. So the Syrian delegation would support the statement made by the distinguished representative of Indonesia on behalf of the non-aligned movement. We are meeting once again in an extremely complex and dangerous climate. The world is facing numerous challenges, including the development of existing nuclear arsenals and the threat by nuclear states, parties to the NPT, to use these weapons. Terrorism can be added to this. We have often warned against this, and it continues to grow and proliferate, cutting down increasing number of innocent lives, sowing death and destruction, and hitting across the world tirelessly. The most worrying aspect of this is the adoption by certain states, including permanent members of the Security Council, of terrorism as a political weapon. These states sponsor terrorist groups appearing on the Security Council list, which use chemical weapons. President, Chair, the United States and Great Britain were not present at the NPT review conference in 2015. These two countries persist in defending Israel and Israel's possession of nuclear weapons, and its non-accession to the NPT in clear violation of all the provisions of the NPT, which is part of the untruthful nuclear policies adopted by these two nuclear states. The fact that the United States, the UK, France, Canada, Germany, Australia, and other Western countries continue to defend Israel's nuclear program and to contribute to its development and promotion by defending Israel against all traditions of disarmament at international level, has encouraged Israel to defy international opinion and develop its nuclear arsenal and not to accede to the NPT. Against this backdrop, my company reiterates its call to all member states to work towards making the Middle East a nuclear weapon-free zone and a zone free of other weapons of mass destruction. I should like to recall the initiative which we launched at the end of 2003 when we were permanent members of the Security Council. This was an initiative which we continue to call upon the Council to adopt. We also call for pressure to be exerted upon Israel to force it to accede to the NPT as a non-nuclear party, while subjecting all its nuclear activities and installations to the control of the IAEA. Chair, the government of the Syrian Arab Republic firmly condemns the crime of using chemical weapons. My country has acceded to the Convention on the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons because of its belief that in the Middle East should be a nuclear weapon-free zone, or rather, and a weapon of mass destruction-free zone, to prove to the entire world our attachment to go against all use of chemical weapons. My country, Syria, has honoured all its commitments resulting from its accession to this convention and has complied with its obligations despite our difficult circumstances. These facts have all been confirmed by the President of the Joint Commission, OAC, Sigrid Kaag, in the resolution of the Security Council in June 2014. The terrorist groups in Syria are still obtaining toxic chemical substances that they prepare, assemble and use with the aid of the intelligence services, as known by everybody, against civilians and the military in my country. Some states sponsor these terrorist groups and continue to give these groups' orders to use toxic chemical substances in order to make accusations against the Syrian government. The latest was the Khan Sheikhoun incident, in a pitiable attempt to blackmail the Syrian government in international organizations. In the context of our constant and transparent cooperation with the IAC, my country addressed to the Secretary General a letter calling for a technical mission, an independent technical to be sent to Ram Sheikhoun and to the Ashwera airfield to see what happened on the ground in a global, transparent and integral way. We're not surprised, however, by the pressure exerted by some Western states, headed by the US, UK and France, to prevent the technical mission, the independent technical mission of the OPCW from being sent when this incident happened. They prevented it being sent to Ran Sheikhoun and the airfield. And therefore these states also prevented the mission establishing the facts, preventing the Ran Sheikhoun visit and this airbase. We will use the right of response to respond to the Saudi Arabia representative. So, the Sheshlum Akhan Lasal visit was also prevented in August 2013. It is in the interests of my country that the truth come to light. The Syrian Arab Republic has sent over 124 letters, to the Secretary General of the United Nations, the Security Council, the Joint Mechanism for Investigation, and Committee 1540, as well as the Committee Against Terrorism, the Counter-Terrorism Committee. In the first letter at the end of 2012, we mentioned the first chemical weapons attack against the village of Khan el-Hassal. We mentioned the chemical weapons 4 months before the first chemical weapon attack against Khan el-Hassal in March 2013. We stressed and expressed our fears that states supporting terrorism would provide chemical weapons to terrorist groups and then claim that it was Syria which had used these weapons. By way of these letters, we informed the bodies involved about the use by terrorist organizations of the use of toxic substances against civilian and military. They had transferred substances from Libya through the intelligence services of countries hostile to my country. This is on top of the provision in Nasra of aid from Turkish intelligence services, who provided chemical substances, toxic chemical substances, across the Turkish borders with the support of the Bandar bin Sultan organization, a Saudi organization. We informed the Security Council Investigation Committee through various letters of the involvement of this group, and the fact that the terrorist groups were given instructions to use chlorine and other toxic chemical substances in regions under the control of these groups. And we provided photos and videos to blame Syria. Thank you. I should like to thank the distinguished representative of the Syrian Arab Republic.